אירד, הפאונדר וה-CEO. פגשתי את אירד בזכות אחד הלקוחות שנתתי לו ייעוץ, ואירד הופיע גם בתחרות הסטארט-אפים ב-Socialize 13 שהתקיימה ב-4 ביוני, אז אני שמחה שהוא פה איתנו היום, ויאללה מתחילים.
תודה רבה. אני אשמח. So hello everybody, my name is Irad. I'm the CEO of Wheeldo, and today I want to talk about how employees learn. So when I say the word learning, the first image that pops in mind is this image. And the second thing that pops in mind is that it's really boring to learn that way. But during our childhood, we had also other experiences, much more engaging and fun learning experience that we learned much more from them. So going to the workplace, the leading theory today is the 70-20-10. The 70-20-10 theory says that 70% out of employee learning will come out of on-the-job training. On-the-job training meaning doing your daily task, doing your job, and by that you learn the best, learning by doing. 20% will come out of social learning. Social learning means learning interactions between people, getting advices, getting tips, sharing knowledge, and so on. And only 10% will come out of the formal learning. Formal learning meaning presentations, webinars, courseware, and so on. The learning and development industry, it's a huge industry. Only in the US itself, they spend $287 billion annually, and it's a growing market. But most of the money is spent on the formal learning, on the 10%, on the presentation, courseware, classes, and so on. Less money is spent on the 70%. 70% is on-the-job training. As you can see, when we are doing, as you know, when we are doing our job, when we are practice what we are doing, we learn the best. The reason is that we are engaged, we are involved in what we are doing, and we learn practices, and we learn from what we are doing, even how to hold a tray. The 20% is the social learning. Here, emotion is involved. When we interact with people, when we listen to people that we like, we learn from them. And it's most likely that we will learn from people that we like. We would want to hear what they're saying, and we will learn. So this is social learning, and those social interactions are happening every day during the working day in the workplaces. People are interacting and learning from each other. And this is 20% out of what employee is learning on the job. So when we look at the learning managers in our days, and we look at the tools that they have, let's see how can they implement the 70-20-10 theory. So they have presentations. You have PowerPoints. What they're doing is they're writing the content, writing the materials, and then sending the presentation to their employees. Their employees are passing through the slides, watching the slides, reading or not reading, and remembering a small amount of information if they remember anything at all. Webinars, which is pretty much using presentations or a talk, using technology for virtual teams or for global companies. They build courseware, use modules, and then people are going through the modules, learning. It's pretty much an interactive, courseware is an interactive presentation, but again, it's a person reading or against the screen by himself. And the last thing is face-to-face classes. People, like we do today, talking. Usually when you sit in a classroom, some people are texting, some people are candy crushing, and so on. So what are the elements that are missing in the tools that I just counted? First of all, the employees are not engaged. They are not really listening, or they are not really engaged in the learning process. Even it's presentation or face-to-face Learning, usually your minds are off from the learning process. Second, it's not social. People are not interacting during those using those tools. And the third, let's face it, it's really boring. It's really boring to learn that way. I can't remember once that I saw an employee getting an email from the learning manager or from his team leader saying you've got a new presentation that you need to learn, and they went like shouting and like crazy, yeah, I've got a new thing to learn, I'm so excited about looking at a presentation. It just doesn't happen. So what learning managers can do, they can use social games. Social games are pretty much, they are successful in our days. Okay, so okay, social games are engaging and they are social. So I want to introduce Wheeldo. Wheeldo is a social games platform. We built game templates that learning managers can easily enter their own content in it, like writing questions or writing some materials, and then they can send it to their employees and they can create a game within 4 minutes. It's pretty simple. They just choose the game according to their needs. If it's implementing a new product, recognition, regulation, and so on, they just choose the game, they enter their content and send it to their employees. You know, it's really easy to use, intuitive platform. So I want to show you a few examples of our games. I will start with a paid forward game. Some of you might know it as Pass the Parcel, or in Hebrew, Chavila Overet. And we made a virtual version of it. The game objective here is to gain as many points as you can by passing boxes, opening boxes, and interactions. The game flow is that people are passing boxes between them. When you get a box, you open the box, and you see whether you want some points or you have to pay it forward to someone else. While paying it forward to someone else, you choose a value, a tip, or write a value and tip to the person that you chose. And this could be a great way to share insights, share tips, and so on. So this is the first screen. The employee is getting an email saying that you got a box. He presses the link and he goes to the box screen. On the box screen, you can see that who sent him the box. In this case, Adam Oliver sent the box. He wrote a tip, offered the 3 in 249. And you can also see the recent box holders, and you can see his personal scores, and you can open the box and see what's inside. In this example, you got 100 points, and you can pay it forward to someone else. So paying it forward is you just choose the recipient name, you choose the insight or write your own insight. You choose an insight or a tip from the list of tips that the learning managers created before when setting up the game, and you write a personal comment. After sending a box, you are redirected to the social arena. In this arena, this is the closure of the game, where you can see what other players did. You can see the leaderboard. You can see the personal comments and the values that people chose and whom did they pass it on to. And you can even start a new change of boxes from the box stock. This is a great recognition game recently used by Amdocs to implement the company's new values in a global campaign for 20,000 employees all around the world. Also used by Granger, American company, to help recognition or ignite recognition in the learning and development department. Another example would be the Q&A voter game. Here the game objective is to suggest the best tip or the best idea or the best practice. So, and the game flow is that goes like this, that the learning manager is posing a question. In this example is what's your idea of a great mustache? It also can be what's a good tip for a new employee, what is the best practice to approach a client, and so on. The employees are getting emails, asking them to come and suggest their idea, their best practices, and then they can submit their idea, upload the question, write the answer, and so on. After a period of time, it could be 2 days, 3 days, or a week, depends on the learning manager, the voting is open. So people are getting, again, an email saying, we generated all the ideas, and now you're more than welcome to come and vote. So they have 100 points, and they can divide it between the different ideas. After voting, they are redirected again to the social arena. They can see the leaderboard and the ideas. And of course, they can interact on the wall. This game was recently used to share best practices between sales reps. They wanted to learn how to best approach a client, what is the best pitch to a client, and they use this tool. Another example is the Daily Insights. This game is basically like a newspaper, and the one that's and the competition is who will make the headline of the newspaper. So the learning manager is posing a question: do apps help you just waste your time? This is an example, and then he writes some insight. Every day, the employees are getting one insight. This helps to create micro-learning. It's basically called learning nuggets that the learning manager is sending to their employees, as opposed to sending a presentation with 10 or 20 or 30 slides. You break it down to small pieces of information and you send it to the employees. So this is a great way to do it. And so the employees are getting it via mail every day, and then they get to rate it between 1 to 5. And after rating the insight, they can write their own insights that will be sent to other employees in the following days. And the one that got the highest score, the insight, is the winner. Another example is the Mountaineer Game. Basically, the objective here in this game is to climb the mountain, the highest that you can. You gain height or points by answering questions. When you answer a question right, you climb and you gain points. Here, as you can see, people can write their own questions. So every 3 waypoints, every 3 questions that you answer, you reach a junction where you can write your own question about the topic of the game. So employees can pose questions to the other players, and when the other players are getting it wrong, the one that wrote the question winning points. This is a great way to compete between teams or compete between between individuals. This game was recently used to help support reps in their course. It was a 2 weeks course. All during the course, people wrote questions about the information that they learned from the course and compete between each other. During the course, they generated 250 questions from 70 support reps, and they used it for the following courses. So as you can see in our examples, there are 3 key elements that makes a difference in terms of implementing the 70-20-10 theory in the employee learning and development. So the first thing is employee engagement. People are really getting involved in our games. People are really into it. They are playing, and it doesn't take that long. People are engaged between 1 minute up to 5 minutes interactions in the game. So it's not time consuming, but it's really engaging. The second thing is that it's really social. When you are writing questions, when you are writing advices, you're interactive with other ideas, hearing other people, expressing yourself. It's social and it's effective. And the third thing, which is we found that it's really important, it's really easy to set up. It takes you between 4 to 10 minutes to set up a game, or even less. in our platform. And it's really easy to use. So the employees, all our games are built from one action screen, so people are really getting it easy. They are getting the idea of writing questions, they're getting the idea of posing their ideas and best practices. So it's really easy to use and it's really easy to set up. If I'm trying to sum up what I'm talking about in my world, I'm talking about learning experience. I'm talking about UX experience. People are experiencing interesting learning ideas. Going back to the monopoly from the beginning, people are really engaged, they're involved, they're having fun, and this is what makes learning effective. So thank you for your time, and thank you, Karen, for this opportunity.